It's LisaMarie here with the Hungry Hippie, and today I'm going to be talking about the Beyond and the Impossible Burger. And I had this on my list to talk about regardless of the scandal or the news that came out about the Impossible Burger and the glyphosate. So the reason I wanted to talk about it was because I've noticed that a lot of my favorite vegan restaurants that had homemade veggie burgers started replacing their burgers with the Impossible or the Beyond Burger. And it upset me because I go to those places to get something I can't get anywhere else. And the fact that I can go to Whole Foods and buy either of those burgers and I'm going there for a special treat just didn't feel right. And then I read that the Beyond and the Impossible Burger are now in almost every single fast food chain across the U.S. And in my vegan groups, people were very, very excited about this. And I think it's great that the vegan diet is becoming more popular, where Burger King and McDonald's feel the need to supply to meet that demand. But I think that we could have better options out there. And I kind of wanted to break down today those ingredients and what they mean, and so that way you can make an informed decision. So I'm going to start with the Beyond Burger. A lot of the ingredients that are in the Beyond Burger are also in the Impossible Burger. So I'm going to run through them. There'll be a blog post about all of this as well that you can go back and reference, and you can compare the ingredients that are found in the two of them. The biggest difference between the Beyond Burger and the Impossible Burger is that the Beyond Burger is non-GMO, so it's not genetically modified, or it's made with non-GMO ingredients. The Impossible Burger is GMO. It is not non-GMO verified, so for me, that is the biggest issue. So I would automatically avoid the Impossible Burger, regardless of anything else that we're going to learn today. The second thing about the Beyond Burger that I liked is that the protein comes from peas. Peas are on the Clean 15 list, so the fact that it's not organic doesn't really bother me as much in terms of that ingredient. It's not one of the highest grade crops, so for it to just be non-genetically modified is okay. The Impossible Burger, their protein source comes from a soy protein concentrate, which we're going to talk about after we run through the rest of the list. They both use vegetable oils, and vegetable oils are known inflammatory oils, so I do my best to avoid them. They are usually in everything. They are high in omega-6s, and when we are consuming too much omega-6, we are naturally lowering the omega-3 in our body, and we need omega-3, and we need it to be in a specific balance with omega-6. And by consuming vegetable oils, we are having more omega-6 in our body and less omega-3. The source of the vegetable oil in the Beyond Burger is expeller pressed canola oil, and so that process is less of a chemical process than the other extraction methods for the canola oil, but it does create heat, and that heat will turn the oil rancid. Sunflower oil is also another vegetable oil found in the Beyond Burger, and when you heat both of these oils to cook the Beyond Burger, if you're not careful with your temperature, these oils can go rancid, and rancid oils create free radicals in the body, and those free radicals can cause a whole host of issues, including inflammation, and speeds up the aging process. So there's a lot of things that we want to look at here. We want to be careful if we are consuming these things that we're being mindful of the heating and the cooling of them. Increased omega-6s lead to inflammatory diseases, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, IBS, IBD, macular degeneration, arthritis, cancer, asthma, and autoimmune diseases. So if you are looking for a diet that is low in inflammation, or you're on an anti-inflammatory diet, or you have IBS, IBD, autoimmune diseases, this is something that you want to really be mindful of. The next thing that I really didn't like in terms of both burgers were the emulsifiers. And they're not labeled as emulsifiers on the label, so you really have to be aware. And this is where self-education kind of comes into handy, and that's hopefully what you're learning today and what you're gaining from this. The emulsifiers in the Beyond Burger were methylcellulose and cellulose from bamboo. And basically, emulsifiers are used to create a different texture or extend the shelf life of a product. They're tied to colon cancers, metabolic dysfunctions, obesity, inflammatory bowel disease, leaky gut, and chronic low-grade inflammation. And we are now, the last couple years, we've learned that inflammation is the root cause of all disease. And when you're consuming emulsifiers like this and you're creating a steady low-grade chronic inflammation, it means that you are inflamed all of the time. And your body is constantly sending your immune system to go fight that inflammation because it can't tell whether you're getting the flu or you're just eating something that's inflammatory. So we're putting our immune system into overdrive. Leaky gut also is something that is linked to a whole host of issues. So digestive disorders, acne. I had acne because of leaky gut. So you really want to pay attention again to these ingredients. And again, they were methylcellulose and cellulose from bamboo. And when I was researching these ingredients and going through one by one on the Beyond Burger, the cellulose from bamboo, right, it sounds great because bamboo is sustainable, bamboo is natural, but it's taken through such a chemical process that the fibers of the bamboo are almost unrecognizable. So it's such a chemical process that at the end of that, and by the time they make it into our food, that it doesn't really matter if it's sustainable or it was natural. It's not anymore. The next thing that I want to talk about is natural flavors. And natural flavors, again, they kind of sound like, oh, great, it's natural. So the requirement for natural flavors is that the source of the flavor has to be found in nature. But so if we're doing an apple flavor, the apple has to have come from nature, but it goes through such a chemical process and it's created in the lab that it's not natural. Flavor is also a proprietary blend, so just like fragrance, they don't have to disclose the ingredients. And we have no idea what's in them. And natural flavors could have up to 100 ingredients alone. And those ingredients can be preservatives, emulsifiers, and solvents. And again, these are all chemicals that we don't want to be ingesting in our body. They also have maltodextrin in there, which is just another word for sugar. Glycerin, which is mostly derived from soy and corn. I know that Beyond Burger is soy-free, so it's probably from corn, and in this case, it'll be non-GMO corn. But again, this is something to be mindful of for future, for other packaged foods and for things that like toothpaste that you're looking at. And gum arabic, which is, again, not a terrible ingredient, but it can cause diarrhea. It can cause indigestion, bloating, gas. So if you're experiencing any of these things, knowing that this is a symptom of this ingredient could be really helpful, so you can kind of put the pieces together if you're experiencing these symptoms from eating a bunch of different foods or processed and packaged things. So for me, that was the roundup on the Beyond Burger. And then the Impossible Burger, like I said, it's made from soy. The protein is a soy protein concentrate. The soy is not non-GMO, so it is genetically modified soy. And there was a recent study that the moms across America did, and they found that there was 11 times more glyphosate in parts per billion in the Impossible Burger than there was in the Beyond Burger. And I'm still trying to unpack what that means, how much glyphosate was found in the Beyond Burger compared to the soy burger or the Impossible Burger. So once I can kind of wrap my head around that whole thing, I will be sharing more information on it. But basically, GMO corn is modified to withstand the constant spraying of Roundup. So Roundup contains glyphosate, and it's been in the news a lot because it ended up causing cancer in a lot of people that worked with it who were told that it was a safe chemical to be using, and it's not. So Monsanto and Bayer are under a lot of scrutiny right now. They are having to pay out billions of dollars to these people that are now battling cancer. So, I mean, that's being found in our food. Like, we are eating that, and you don't want to eat that. Also, the terms concentrate and isolate are basically terms saying that the protein is extracted from the soy. It's concentrated, it's isolated from the soy just to have the protein. And that's a chemical process. And there is chemical residue that is usually left on the protein. So you want to be mindful of that. That's another layer of chemicals that are being added into this that, at first glance, you might not realize. They also have an ingredient that I cannot pronounce, but it's basically it's a soy based ingredient. It's like a hemoglobin is what I had come across on my research. And it's basically what gives the Impossible Burger that pink center. And so the FDA was not going to approve this because it had never been consumed by humans before. But then they did a test on rats, and in 28 days they found that the rats didn't react. And so they allowed this product to be in the Impossible Burger. And the fact that the FDA wasn't sure is kind of a huge red flag for me. They've approved high fructose corn syrup. They've approved yellow number 5. They've approved a lot of things in our food that are known now, that are still approved to cause diseases. And the fact that they weren't sure of this ingredient is a huge red flag for me. The other thing that really bothered me about the Impossible Burger was that when you go on their website, they link you to an article written by their in-house, paid by Impossible Burger nutritionist to let you know that soy is safe. And she's quoting studies and referencing Asian cultures where soy's been consumed for years and how they have less disease than us. Here's the thing. Those studies, the people that are eating and consuming that soy are not consuming the same types of soy that are found in the Impossible Burger. They're eating fermented soys. They're eating soy, full soy. They're not eating concentrates and isolates that were being extracted with a chemical process. They're not eating genetically modified corn that has been sprayed with Roundup, which has a known carcinogen, glyphosate. So that made me mad because I felt like that was just painting half the picture. It was not in the consumer's best interest, but again, she's being paid by Impossible Burger to be promoting that product and to get you to buy that product. So when you're looking at studies and when you're on their website, you have to take everything with a grain of salt except for the ingredients. And they're telling you what these ingredients are by saying they're genetically modified. It's soy. You can't get caught up in all of the other fluff that's on their website. And so again, that was really disheartening to me. If I had to choose between the Beyond or the Impossible, I would choose Beyond. I would advise every person that I loved to avoid the Impossible Burger at all costs. And I would say to enjoy the Beyond Burger if it's something that you want in moderation. I would try to make homemade veggie patties that are easily frozen so that way you have a quick meal on the go. If that's a reason why you're grabbing the Beyond Burger or the Impossible Burger, stock your fridge with whole food burgers. Like, these are not real food burgers. None of the ingredients besides the peas are real. And so, there's been a lot of junk food vegan movement happening, and I think that you can do junk food vegan in a whole food way. You don't have to just eat a salad as a vegan, and for me, this is not the way to have a fun meal or a meal that's more relaxed in terms of nutrition. I think that there's a better way to do it with whole foods, real foods. I think that your diet as a vegan should consist of whole and real foods, and not foods like this. So if you guys have any questions, you can find me at Hungry Hippie Eats on Instagram, hungryhippieeats.com, and I will be posting more videos like this with reviews, with educational information, things like that. I also run a vegan meal delivery service in New York and New Jersey where we focus on whole food plant-based diets. So we won't find any of the ingredients that we spoke about today in any of our meals. We use organic whenever possible, and natural whole foods, no vegetable oils, no refined sugar, no gluten, no soy, and obviously no dairy. So if you guys like what you see, I would love for you to share the video or give it a like or share it with a friend, and have a great day.